Okay, so I thought this would be an interesting one to discuss. How did I get into computer rebuilding, PC sales, um, that kind of thing? So I have kind of an interesting story. So back in um, 2005, I started work at a place called Staples. You've probably heard of them. And they, in addition to office supplies, they sell computers, laptops, printers. and So I got into that. And I was always kind of a little bit inclined into the computer stuff. So, they needed somebody that occasionally did that stuff. So it usually kind of fell to me. But about a year and a half after I started in like 2006, 2007, something like that, um, was when we first started doing PC Recycle. And that was like the first round of PC Recycle, really. That was when like it first kind of became evident that there was a ton of this stuff and something was going to have to be something was going to have to be done with the stuff. Because before that, I think like the idea of needing to recycle a computer wasn't really an issue before. So my store was a drop off location for PC Recycle. And so one of the interesting things was that the area I was in was a very, let's just say, upper class area. PC Recycle meant something a little bit different when the people that come through your area get a new computer every 6 months or something, okay? Um, at the very least, they didn't put any real value on stuff. So we would get some fairly nice stuff. We would occasionally get computers that were within a year or two of brand new, sometimes even current gen stuff at the time. And back then, I mean, that was Pentium 4 days, right? So I was there during kind of the changeover to Core 2 Duo, that kind of thing. But in any case, so I was very lucky. My general manager at my store allowed me to go through the recycle at that store and basically take whatever I wanted. And so this bypassed me around the question of, well, how do you learn to work on this stuff? Because you're going to break stuff. It didn't matter. I pulled stuff out of the recycle. I broke it. I fixed it. Whatever. It was basically my own personal PC recycle bin. It was pretty nice. And after I did that for a little while, obviously I realized, hey, I might be able to sell some of this. So I did. I started posting. So back then, Craigslist was the only game in town. It was the only thing we had. I mean, heck, this was 2 years. This was like the year Facebook launched. YouTube wasn't really a thing at that point. Craigslist was the only gig in town, and so I posted on Craigslist, and I got lots of buyers, and I kind of got into that. And then after a couple of years, maybe a year, I think I probably a year on and off of doing that, they brought in new store management at that point, and new store management found out what had been going on, and they threatened me that they were going to do this investigation because I had gone through the recycle bin and blah blah blah, and they were going to charge, they were going to maybe look into it being theft and all that kind of stuff. And I said, you know what, guys, this isn't worth it for this job. I'll go find something else. So I left at that point, but I had already built a business buying and selling hardware. And so for the next, man, I don't even know. I did it on and off full time in between being able to find jobs that took could use my useless job skills at that point. I mean, I had my job skills on paper were McDonald's at that point, right? So I ended up doing a stint at an Office Depot for about 6 months. Hated that place. I hated that place so much. I should have known too, because the employees at the store that I applied at almost literally told me, "You don't want to work here, dude." And but I was the in-store tech there, so I did that for a little while. Then I ran my own business doing uh, mostly small business IT work. So basically, computer repair and small network repair, stuff like that for businesses that basically didn't have an IT guy on site, didn't want to pay for an IT guy to be on retainer. And I made a little bit of money, but it was one of those things where I found out pretty quick that the reason why they were using me was because they didn't want to pay, crap for tech support. And it got to the point where, yeah, a lot of the small businesses that I dealt with, they had this I got to get my money's worth mentality, and they typically insisted on way more than their money's worth. So eventually, after several projects where I would spend, like, this was back when Outlook was a lot bigger, and like I'd have these Outlook transfers where people would want, they would want all of their everything arranged exactly how it was before. They'd have 100,000 emails from 15 years, and these things would take days at a time, and I would make like $100 for 2 days of work. After a while, I just gave up. I was like, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. And then I kind of moved entirely into sales, and even at that point, I kind of started moving into custom gaming system sales. So, but anyway, I'll talk more in the future. But that's kind of my background, how I got started doing this stuff, and hope you guys find it interesting. Thanks for watching.